Thanks, Shirley.
Is it a case of thousands of people around Australia clutching at straws?
Well, they're certainly clutching for something. I would hate to think that what I do is called a straw, but for a lot of the people who come and seek help, they're untreatable.
Dr. John Holt has extraordinary qualifications. A surgeon, oncologist, gynaecologist, obstetrician and radiotherapist, he's a member of all the Royal Colleges. He was also in charge of WA's cancer research for more than a decade, until medical politics drove him out. For the past 30 years, he's been in private practice helping cancer sufferers.
You can cure approximately 25%, 30%.
Cure?
Palliate the rest of the people I select.
But you don't normally tell people I can cure you. You simply say, we'll have a go.
No. Yes, that's right.
I can live with that.
The maximum number of treatments I've ever had to give anybody has been 7 over 2.5 years. And we finally got there.
Right.
So it's a question of finding the exact technique which fits the individual person best.
Now, you don't feel clearly that you're wasting your time?
Not at all. No, how could I with my results, which are, after 7 months now, still stable, still absolutely fine. I still have no symptoms. I'm still living a great quality of life.
Jackie, but was there a time when Dr. Holt said to you he could cure you?
No. No. He said, let's give it a go.
So how does Dr. Holt's treatment work? Well, he gives the patients an injection of a glucose-blocking agent. He then shines radio waves into the body at 434 megahertz, which sensitizes the cancer cells. The blocking agent then starves the cancer. Now, you say you and your team could do 12 or 15 of these a day, that's all?
Well, that's the limit. Time you've injected them and done this, give them a rest period, a cool drink, sit under a fan to cool off. 12 is the limit of this apparatus.
Did you build that, Dr. Holt?
I built the table and all the antennae, yes.
It looks, excuse the phrase, it looks primitive. It looks very basic.
It is. They've all been like that. There's been very little change because it works.
For 30 years now, the media, as well as the medical establishment, has blasted Dr. Holt. And that's made him a bit gun-shy. That's why nobody has heard about him for years. But this past week, the attacks have started up again, and they're just as ill-informed. You know, the West Australian newspaper has again attacked Dr. Holt for using the Tornado machine. There were only ever 2 Tornados used in WA. One was broken up and sold as scrap metal, and the other one sits in mothballs down at the Sir Charles Gardner Hospital. The amazing thing is that Dr. Holt hasn't used the Tornado for more than 15 years. And it's more than 15 years since the AMA, or the Cancer Council, or the media have bothered to check out what he does.
I don't know the answer. I don't run the newspapers.
So you were just as happy to keep treating patients as they walked in the door and forget the media?
Well, that's what I like doing for a living.
Their doctors have given them no hope. So we're not giving any false hope at all.
It's the last chance.
They're on their last legs.
And we'll keep on this Dr. Holt story for you. But first to Dr. John Holt. As we've told you over recent weeks, thousands of cancer patients have been cured or made to feel much better by his controversial treatment. Yet over the past 30 years, our politicians and the medical establishment have either vilified or ignored him. Now at last, it seems, that is changing.
Oh, I didn't feel real good. I just went out and looked up at the sky and said, because my brother died when he was 50 and he's up there, so I said, well, looks like I'm coming to join you, mate.
My Uncle Ted was very reticent to have his bladder removed.
I decided there's nothing they can do for me now, so I'll go down there and cark it.
I was very sceptical because I'm a WA trained doctor and I've been a doctor for 15 years, and when we went through medical school there was a very negative opinion put out there about this treatment.
And it showed that I had the cancer there, and there, and there. And then across my ribs and a great big one between my shoulder blades.
We were just absolutely amazed that the cancer just melted away, and I think he deserves a medal, not this negative approach from a lot of the medical profession.
I'm no professor or no scientist, but it just seems to me that when people have got no hope at all, government should be doing whatever they possibly can. Politics aside, I mean, this is people's lives we're talking about.
There has been some medical progress made in Western Australia with Dr. John Holt. He's a qualified and respected surgeon. In the more recent period, he's been treating dozens of victims of mesothelioma, and I think the government in New South Wales and nationally should examine this research to see if we can search towards a cure for this agonising disease that's decimating many working men and women in this country. All in favour? Aye. Aye.
National Executive of the CFMEU, the powerful union in charge of construction and mining, is now demanding that politicians do something about mesothelioma. That's the asbestos cancer that's killing hundreds of Australian workers. Meso is literally a death sentence. But again, Dr. Holt has had some success with this incurable cancer using his radio wave therapy.
My experience is that they usually need 3 or 4 of treatment over a year.
Do you think this is the only treatment for mesothelioma?
Well, none of the other treatments that I've seen, from surgery right through to the cytotoxic chemotherapy, has been, in my opinion, of any value at all.
But again, you're confident that if you got them early, that you could make a difference?
Yeah, I'm certain of it. This was the X-ray she brought to me the first day I saw her, and the diaphragm should look like that, a nice curved piece, but instead it's filled up with the cancer there.
And now, today?
Well, 14 years later, she's got scarring between the various lobes of the lung and a little bit along the side, but the diaphragm has almost come back to normal.
But we keep being told that mesothelioma can't be cured.
Well, this is the only one that I can guarantee, I think, is cured. But I treated 14 patients between December 19, January 97 with the same method, and there are 5 5-year survivals.
I did not want my children to end up...
Remember Emma from our first story? In 1990, she was diagnosed with mesothelioma, and she was given 6 months to live.
I just believe in Dr. Holt. He was the only doctor that gave me hope.
14 years later, Emma and husband Hank are giving some hope to WA Union boss Kevin Reynolds and all his members who are suffering asbestos cancer.
There seems to be no treatment at all, and people are just desperate. And we are seeing more and more of our members ending up with this horrible disease and dying.
I went to Holland after the first treatment to show my mum and dad that I was okay.
Still alive?
Still alive.
But Kevin, what do you say to your members who have mesothelioma?
What can you say? I mean, you've seen it in previous programs you've done, Ray. People are queuing to get in, and they just can't get in because it can only do 12 or 13 a month. I mean, you hang your head and cry.
I've had a rebirth. I've had a chance to live again. It's an amazing gift that he's given me.
There was just no way I could have lived. It was just impossible. Just couldn't have happened.
Over the past 6 months, we've met dozens of cancer sufferers of all ages from all over Australia. They say that they owe their lives to Dr. John Holt. The main criticism of Dr. Holt is that there's no scientific evidence that what he does actually works. In these files are the medical records of people who come to see him over the last 18 months, and most of them were told that there was nothing that conventional medicine could do for them. In this drawer are the records of those who came here and didn't make it. But in these 2 drawers, more than 200 people are still alive today. Now, this may not be scientific evidence, but it's a fact.
I'm still living a great quality of life.
Jackie and 89-year-old Elvina have just finished their 3 weeks of therapy. And so far, so good. Their cancers are under control. Hundreds of Dr. Holt's other patients from the last 13 years are filed away here. Patients like Ted Swindles.